Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, there's something on my desk that I forgot. It's a blue and white, like it's a photocopy. It's on top of my desk. Thank you. You're the best, Alex. Geraldine's here. Yay! So good to see you. We are going to begin our service on page 10. For those of you who aren't aware, we do have a visitor from the rack here tonight that you'll hear more about in a little bit. And also, this is highest refugee Shabbat weekend. So we welcome the stranger. There's some of you in the congregation that I've not met before, so you're welcome to be here. And we're welcoming a brand new stranger, although he's not really a stranger. We're welcoming Cole Banfill to the Bima tonight. He already did the Kabbalat Kids program with me earlier tonight, which was fantastic. And it's nice to have a younger, more talented person on the Bima than me, which is lovely. So thank you, Alex. You were the best. So we're going to begin on page 10 with Hine Matov.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד.
How good it is for all of our brothers and sisters to be together. We'll turn to page 12 for Psalm 95. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, Nariya letzor yishenu, nekadma fanav betoda, bizmirot nariya lo. Page 344, sing a new song unto God, Shir Hadash.
Adonai kol haaretz, shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Adonai kol haaretz, shiru Adonai Shir Hadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God.
I'd like to invite Rick and Rebecca Lockenbach to the Bima to light Shabbat candles.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Thank you. We'll turn now to page 14 in our service for some additional light, or Zarua Latzadik. Light be shown for the righteous.
O Zerua Latzadik, O Yishalev Simcha. O Zerua Latzadik, O Yishalev Simcha. O Zeruach L'Tzadik, O Yishalev Simcha. O Yishalev Simcha. O Zeruach L'Tzadik, O Yishalev Simcha. O Yishalev Simcha. Ya la 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 ya la 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 O Zerua Latzadik, O Yishalev Simcha. O Zerua Latzadik, O Yishalev Simcha.
Page 17 towards the bottom of the page in the Hebrew, Romemu.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lecha kosho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lecha kosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lecha kosho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lecha kosho.
At this time, we'll turn to page 20 to welcome the Shabbos bride with Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לך אותי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לך אותי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד. השמיענו אל עמי החי. אדוני אחד ובשמו אחד. ושמו תפארת ותהילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונחה. כי היא מקור הברכה. מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבתך תחילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שדברי. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. בוא ושלום עטרת בעלה. גם בשמחה ובצהלה. תוך אמנה עם סגולה. בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה. פני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated, friends. We'll turn now to page 22 for Psalm 92. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני,
ולזמר לשמחה עליון, ולזמר לשמחה עליון.
כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר
ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
We'll turn now to page 26 for the half Kaddish, the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal ve'yitkadal shemei Rabbah, v'yamad yivrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayedechu beit Yisrael, bagala bagala uvizman kariv v'meru.
Amen.
Yehesh merabah mevorach, le'olam olol me'almaya, yitbarach, yitbarach ve'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitrama v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal, shmei dekudashah. Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran bi'alma ve'meru. Amen. Please rise if you are willing and able and turn to page 28 for the Baruch Hu.
Yadalai, 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 yadalai. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yadalai, 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 yadalai.
You may be seated. Let's turn to page 31 and read together at the bottom of the page. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Well, if you haven't had the experience of watching the YouTube that Cole's mom sent around to everybody a couple years ago, you are in for a special Ahavat Olam treat tonight. So we'll turn to page 32 for Ahavat Olam, everlasting love you offered your people Israel.
And please sing along if you recognize the tune. Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu le'eman detach chukim u'mishpatim. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fill my heart with song, let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship, and all I adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, in other words, in other words, I love you.
Baruch atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema into the V'ahavta, beginning on page 34.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol rucha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'lechtecha v'aderech u'v'shofecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elechem. Ani Adonai Elechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim le'yod lechem le'ochim. Ani Adonai Elechem.
Let's read together responsively at the bottom of page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. As a reminder, we are in Highest Refugee Shabbat weekend. We pray that everyone who is traveling and looking for that place of redemption may find it. Page 40, Michamocha.
Omi chamocha berim Adonai. Omi kamocha neder bakodesh. Onor tehilo osef eleh. Onor tehilo osef eleh. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I've ever had, redemption song. These songs of freedom, redemption song. Malchutecha le'uvenecha bokeya lifnei Moshe ozel yanu ve'amru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I've ever had, redemption song. These songs of freedom, redemption song.
ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, גלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל. Let's read together at the bottom of page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. And the people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, page 44, Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, laso et ha-Shabbat ledor tamerit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, laso et ha-Shabbat ledor tamerit olam. B'nei b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו לעיני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינבש, שבת וינבש, שבת וינבש, ושמרו לעיני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו לעיני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורתם ברית עולם.
We'll turn to page 46 and rise if you are willing and able for the Amidah.
Adonai, Sifata Tiftahu fi Yagi Tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומשיח ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה והושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומציל אסורים. ולאלוהינו אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך. מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל.
אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Ose shalom bimroma, hoyase shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma, hoyase shalom aleinu. Ose shalom bimroma, hoyase shalom aleinu. Yase shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimroma, yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimroma, yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'ako Yisrael.
I'd like to invite Rick Lockenbach to the Bima to introduce our wonderful guest speaker from the RAC this evening.
Good Shabbos all. I just read something in the prayer book that resonated with me in terms of what we're here about tonight. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. You know, in our liturgy and our tradition, there's much about tikkun olam, our obligation to repair the world. The world's not going to get repaired by itself. It is our job to do more than to read about it, to learn about it. It is up to us to act and to do what we can to deal with the injustice that's in this world as Jews. One of the ways that we can do that is to get involved with RAC, Religious Action Center. There's a national RAC that's the social justice arm of Reform Judaism. And then there's more recently there has been formed an organization called Florida RAC, which Michelle Iger is the state coordinator for. Precious Boatwright and I are going to coordinate efforts here to try to get us more involved with RAC and to do more in the way of tikkun olam. It's one way that we can do what we can to try to make this community and world a more just place. I'm pleased to be able to introduce Michelle as the state organizer for Florida RAC. She worked 10 years in the Hartford, Connecticut school system, both within the system and outside the system, in trying to make education more equitable for all students in the magnet and charter school system. She was involved in organizing parents and getting them involved in lobbying locally and at the state level, involved in marketing, recruiting, and other activities to make a difference for those students that often get left behind within the educational system. I know she's going to be a real asset to us in Florida, and I'm waiting to hear what she has to say and how we can get involved with Florida RAC here and become an important part of this statewide organization. It's up to you now, Michelle.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, actually, for a really great singing and praying with our voices and allowing me to be here with you all. And thank you for all being here. And thank you to Rick and Precious, who's not with us, for inviting me. I'm really humbled to be with you all this evening. And to share my story and my passion for organizing and why working with the Religious Action Center, or the RAC, is a journey that brings me full circle in my own story. So this weekend, Refugee Shabbat, is the week when we hear in the Torah the story of the Israelites leaving Egypt and crossing the sea to freedom. The story of taking only what you can carry and running from persecution is the one that echoes down our own Jewish history and into the stories of refugees and displaced people today. The main theme in our parsha this week is crossing of the Sea of Reeds. And there's a midrash that teaches us that the sea did not just part until one brave man named Nakshan walked into the water. The order was given to all the tribes, and there they stood at the edge, waiting for just one person to act. And then Nakshan stepped up and began to walk into the water. And the story goes like this. The water came up to his shoulders. Before him was the sea, and behind him, Egyptian soldiers. The water came up to his chin, and with one last breath of air, Nakshan sputtered out this prayer. Mika mocha, Bahalim Adonai, Mika mocha, Nedar bar Kodesh, Nora tehio, Ose Fele. And the sea parted. And then the others followed him. And as the sea flowed back over the Egyptians, it was then that the Israelites celebrated. Every generation and every society needs a Nakshan of its own. How many of you know one? Or are you one? No one. What does it take to be a Nakshan? And is it not deeply rooted in our DNA as Jews? Nakshan's name became synonymous with the meaning, courage to do the will and the will to do the right thing, even when it's not popular. And that lesson for all of us is that we must stay focused on our life's mission, disregarding all the obstacles that come before us. So I want you to think back to maybe a time when you acted with courage to do the right thing when it wasn't popular. And as you're thinking of yours, I'm going to share mine. And it started with my own family, the family I created. My oldest son, an intelligent, thoughtful, and kind student, had the worst first 3 years of his elementary school career. Terrible. Not so nice. And it was one day, his third grade teacher assistant pulled me aside in his school and said to me, "You need to take him out of this school now. They're ruining him." She loved Nick like her own son and was deeply concerned. And with guidance from our doctors, his dad and I did just that. And we looked high and low to find a good fit for our beautiful child. And so, in 4th grade, the beginning of school, we prayed that a charter Montessori school would celebrate his learning style and empower him to become the student we knew he was. And as we sat at that first parent-teacher conference, as we were hearing some of the most amazing stories about our son, it was then that his dad sat next to me with tears streaming down his face. Miss Terry, Nick's teacher, stopped and was like, "What's wrong? Did I say something wrong?" And his dad explained to her, "No, these are tears of gratitude. That finally, after 4 years of heartache and struggles and nights of crying and fighting, that finally we're sitting here and hearing stories about our child that's in a place that celebrates his abilities and not his differences." That day was my catalyst. And and I spent the next 10 years organizing communities in North Carolina and Connecticut. I met with families, heard their stories, shared ours, and we worked to build power in communities to bring about change at the state level so that legislatures and our community would represent our needs. I worked to ensure that a system that had failed my family wouldn't continue to fail others. Isn't that really how it works? We need someone in our community to take the first step, to gather people together, to work together, to bring about change. That is how I think it must be for a refugee, or the asylum seeker, the poor, the lonely, the marginalized, and the oppressed. All of those we are called to care for. One of our core commandments of Judaism, love your neighbor as yourself, Leviticus. This commandment stands at the center of our central book in the Torah, and it stands at the center of the Religious Action Center, or the RAC. The history of the RAC is deeply rooted in caring for those who are marginalized, overlooked, and disadvantaged. The RAC is the organization it is today, in part to a man named Kivi Kaplan. If you haven't heard of him, I'm going to share his story. Kivi was a young businessman, the son of a Jewish immigrant who came from Europe to Boston to flee the war. Kivi was on his honeymoon with his beautiful bride, Emily, here in Florida. And Emily and him decided one evening that they wanted to go out to dinner. And they wanted to dine at a country club to celebrate their happiness. They were being driven around in Florida in a taxi by a young African American. And as they pulled up to the restaurant, they were horrified to see a sign that read, "No Jews, no dogs." And Kivi was deeply shaken. And they turned to the driver and said, "What is this? Is this what happens here?" And their driver replied to them, "They don't even bother to put us on the sign." Now, Kivi held his Jewish values and teachings very close and believed that all are created in God's image. And he understood something very critical, that we all have a responsibility to use whatever power we have to fight for the equality of others. That experience for Kivi on his honeymoon was the catalyst that caused him to act. And when he returned, he found a way to be a part of the solution. Kivi was one of the first white Americans to be a part of and be the president of the NCAA, sorry, I had basketball in my mind. And later became its president for years and worked as a leader in the Reformed Jewish movement. After achieving business success and raising a family with Emily, Kivi decided that he wanted to do one last thing. And he purchased a beautiful house on Embassy Row in our nation's capital. He donated that beautiful house to the Religious Action Center as its headquarters, with the caveat of this: it must forever remain a beacon and the hub of civil rights action for generations to come. That has been the RAC's North Star since that day. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 was drafted on our conference room table, still in our building. And just last year, Martin Luther King III joined us at the RAC as we kicked off our civic engagement, Every Voice, Every Vote campaign. The RAC has evolved since those days of Kaplan, and we recognize one really big change. That is that change just doesn't happen in DC, on the Hill, or in our headquarters on Kivi Kaplan Way, but it happens here, in churches, in basements, in synagogues, in social halls, and in this sanctuary, just like all around the state. Today, that vision is what I'm bringing to you as part of RAC Florida. In 2018, RAC Florida was launched with a handful of congregations that were mostly located in South Florida. And together, these are the things they accomplished. They worked in coalition at a state level to pass Amendment 4 to restore the returning citizens' voting rights. They worked to close the Homestead Detention Center and worked to fight against the anti-protest bill. And most recently, last year, through Florida-specific voter engagement and election protection, we supported the RAC's movement-wide Every Voice, Every Vote campaign. What are we working on now in 2023? They hired me in July of last year, and tomorrow, Sunday, we will welcome 15 new lay leaders and rabbis from across the state of Florida to join the RAC Florida leadership team. One of them, those leaders are here tonight. One is home. And they're members of your congregation. These are leaders that will work to build robust, diverse teams in their respective communities, and together, alongside our coalition partners who are already doing this work, we will work to bring about change that we want to see in our communities and across the state of Florida. Tonight, I stand before you, not just as the organizer of RAC Florida, but as a mother, as a woman, and as a believer in this, that the lesson for all of us is that we must stay focused on our life's mission, to disregard any obstacle that comes in that way. I also believe we all have a Nakshan as a part of us and inside of us. My ancestors crossed that sea. So did yours and millions of others of ours. So I ask you tonight, on this Shabbat, to look deep inside your hearts, to remember those who have gone before us. Look at the people in your family who are sitting next to you. Think of your community. Look around this sanctuary. And then join your fellow congregants and myself as we walk into the waters here in your community and we begin the long journey to a world that is overflowing with peace, love, and justice for all. May we go from strength to strength. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much, Michelle. And you should be able to see updates. Rick keeps us informed of what's going on. And if you'd also like to stay in touch with what's going on with the RAC Florida, the RAC in general, you can sign up for their emails. They send lots of them. And it's very easy to get involved, even from your own home. So, let's see. It's time now to pray for those in need of healing. We pray for those in our community, Jan Hardy, Tim Farrar, Ben Gittleson, Catherine Bell, Alicia Smith, Geraldine Collins, Lau Alovas, Toby Terrell, Kurt Reamer, Scott Brown, Elgin Freeman, Doris Bernal, Jose Carreno, Cookie Epstein, Naomi Harris, Jenny Engelbrecht Barbarino, Megan Lagasse Vanderlei, Marjorie Gilberg, Alan Sussman, Amy Jackson, Diana Fernandez, Alan Webb, David Greenberg, David Priceman, Selma Samansky, and Faye Barnett. Are there any other names in need of healing this evening? We'll turn together to page 253 for Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mikol HaBracha Leimoteinu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeach Avotenu Mikol habracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So I know that some of you in this room have to have things that you are grateful for, that you are excited about this Shabbat, that you are happy about. Anyone? Yes, Wendy. Me too. Come on up, Wendy, and help us open the ark for Aleinu. Anybody else have anything they're grateful for? Oh, come on now. I know we're all grateful for cold. And you're all welcome to come up to the bima if you would like.
Yeah, genuinely.
Oh, stop. So come on.
That was a whale.
Oh, he was the best. So I'll ask you all to open the ark. If you would, please, friends, turn to page 282 and rise for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach adon hakol, latet g'dula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chalkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, Malchei Hamachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Noti Shamayim ve'yoser Aretz, U'moshav Yikarov b'shamayim mimal, U'shchinatu zo, Begovhei meromim, Hu Eloheinu einod, Emet Malkeinu efes ulato, Kakatu v'torato, v'yadayom, v'ashevota alevavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim mimal, v'yahaaretz, mitochatenod, v'nemar, V'haya Adonai lemelech kol haaretz, vayom havu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad. And you may be seated, friends. Yesh kochavim she'aram magia artza. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we have loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways that we remember. We are in Shloshim for David Goldstein, cousin of Susie Kapp, for Steve Turner, husband of Susan Turner, beloved friend and leader of Temple Israel, and for Montez Williams, friend of Lisa Harris. We remember the yahrzeit of Mary Ann Lyons McGinley, Beatrice Rice, Rose Cohen Greenberg, Joseph Daniels, Bruce Ehrlichman, Minnie Axelrad, Henrietta Goldman, M. Wayne Myers, Russell Norkin, Carol Payne Brinkley, Maida Post Singer, Maria Molina, Leonard Herbert Gilberg, Luella Raisin, Peggy Gage, Molly Miller, Ida Ellerstein, Martha Bierman, and Stephen Fink. Are there any other names to remember this evening? Then, as is our custom, we'll turn to page 294 and rise with our mourners for Kadishatom. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei zechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam v'lamei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitzpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. You may be seated, friends. I'd like to say toda rabah, thank you very much, to Rick and Rebecca Lockenbach and Precious Boatwright for sponsoring tonight's oneg in honor of Michelle joining us from the rack this evening. Shabbat morning service will be at 10 a.m. with Judith Lyons. Please join us in person or on YouTube. Rabbi Catriel Garland's class, 21st Century Halacha on Sundays in February, begins this Sunday at 11 a.m. Please sign up. I see Veronica's already signed up. I know. It's going to be a fantastic class for those of you who may have peeked in or seen a picture about what he did with some of our adults and students on how to wrap tefillin on Sunday. It was very cool. Couple of the sessions, there's one called, let's see, this first session, I think, is davening with your cell phone. And then there's one called, Shabbat with the Jetsons. So you should totally sign up for this class. It's awesome. It starts this Sunday, 11 a.m. And make sure that you sign up, please. We do need you to sign up. Mark your calendars or go ahead and register for these upcoming February programs. The Tu B'Shvat Seder this coming Monday, February 6th with Judith Lyons, and our Shabbaton, which is February 10th and 11th and 12th for our religious school, featuring Jewish musician and artist Beth Hammond. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Lois Sulkus and David Pepper and Terry Kant-Rauch of Kant Realty. You can see the temple times for the list of reclaimed items that we need. Right now, we need some help with some plastic kitchen funnels. So if you have those you'd be willing to loan us for that Sunday, we would greatly appreciate it. Needle nose pliers are another thing we need to borrow. And I think a couple of hammers. One of Beth's specialties is she creates instruments out of junk. And so she's doing that with our kids on Sunday in a program called Junk to Funk. She's a percussionist also, and she makes these really cool treble cajones, these little drums that are like down there. So come join us. It's going to be a fantastic experience with Beth this weekend. I've rambled enough. Okay. Let's see. Ozi, my strength, Ozi v'zimrat Yah, God is my strength and my song. Standing on the far shore of the Sea of Reeds, our ancestors sang in honor of their own aching muscles, sore from slogging through the mud of the sea floor, And they sang in honor of the miracle of their freedom. Oziv Zimratia Vayehi Leshua, my strength and God's song rescued me. Every time Jews have fled from persecution and oppression, from the Inquisition, from the Tsars, from Ethiopia, from Hitler and beyond, it has taken our own labor and effort, our own aching muscles and bleeding fingers, and it has taken miracles. Not every miracle is as visible or dramatic as the parting of the sea. Sometimes a miracle is an extra space found in a caravan or on a ship, a kind neighbor sharing food or hiding children, paperwork lost or paperwork found. Sometimes a miracle is being welcomed in by strangers who become friends. As we lift our cup for the Kiddush blessing, as we remember the effort and the miracle that brought us out of Egypt, we commit ourselves this year to being the miracles for the newcomers in our midst, to offering the support and welcome once extended to our ancestors, to those most in need of it today, to lift their burdens, easing their efforts, and being for them a song of God. You can find Kiddush if you would like to join me on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei puri hagafen. There you go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron l'ma'aseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher l'tziyat Mitzrayim, kivanu v'horta, Ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim, v'shabbat kodshecha be'ava uvratzon hinchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat.
Amen. Kol hakavod, my friend, you did remember from your bar mitzvah.
Of course. When I did it on my bar mitzvah, I blanked right when I was about to do it, and I remembered. So it was okay. It's all good. It's all good.
Thank you.
Because I was so worried.
Oh, you did great. I remember your speech, too.
I don't. Something about kosher laws.
That's okay. You want to lead us in Motzi?
Sure. Do we do the fun one?
Do the fun one.
Okay.
I mean, right?
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
And we'll bring this next door in just a moment. Our closing song for this evening can be found on page 330. And I am grateful for Cole tonight because this is probably not one of my favorite melodies, but Cole changed it up totally for me tonight. Now I'm digging it. So Maya Fehayom.
So we figured out it's only 5 words. So not 4. I thought it was 4 initially.
It's 5 words.
It's 5. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fehayom,
One word.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
shalom.
We look forward to seeing you next door in the Diamond Family Social Hall.
Yashiko.
The plan is that first Fridays is
I'd love to. Yeah.
jam.
Can I
We
be
can
on?
keep the
Yeah,
same running sheet. I'll teach you some of the other liturgy, and you'll be great.
I'm good with that. And can I be honest with you? I committed to playing a gig at 8:30, and so I need to be there in 20 minutes. I'm just letting you know.
No, you're
I
fine.
love you.
Gigs are important. Get out of here.
It's yeah. It'll be fun.
He came home and got one of Ryan's stamps last night for whatever this gig is, his band. I don't know why they didn't ask bagels and biscuits. I don't get it. It's all good. It's all good. That was such a privilege.
It was so fun. You did such a great job.
He's done it other places, but not here.
Yeah, and I said,
Oh my gosh, you must be so proud of him. That's it. You can retire from being a father now. You did it. You got up to the top.